When Heartland confirmed that season 19 had begun filming, the excitement quickly turned into questions, especially for fans who've been rooting for Amy and Nathan. Their relationship finally started to move forward at the end of season 18, even after all the setbacks they faced. The kiss, the vulnerability, the honesty, it all felt like the beginning of something real. But we should have known peace doesn't last long in Heartland. Just when it seemed like Amy might get a second chance at love, Gracie walked back into Nathan's life. And not quietly. She didn't return to mourn their father or make amends. She returned with one demand: co-ownership of Price Beef. But what she really wants is control of the company, of the narrative, and maybe even of Nathan. Her timing couldn't have been worse. Their father is barely holding on in a care facility, and Gracie's sudden interest in the family business feels calculated. She didn't visit during his decline. She didn't reach out when the family was breaking under pressure. But now that the business is thriving and Nathan is finally finding happiness again, with Amy, Gracie returns like a storm that's been building just off-screen, and it's clear she doesn't approve of Amy. The first thing she comments on? That Nathan is too kind to her. That tells us everything we need to know. She doesn't see Amy as a partner or family, she sees her as a threat. Amy, who has already been through so much heartbreak, is suddenly being treated like an outsider. Again. The family she's built, the connections she's fought to keep strong, are being tested by someone who just walked in and decided she had the right to shake everything up. And Nathan? He's stuck in the middle, torn between the woman he's falling for and the sister he doesn't trust, but also doesn't want to lose. He knows how volatile Gracie can be. He's lived with her manipulation before, but this time, Gracie has leverage, their father's name, her legal claim to Price Beef, and a deep understanding of how to push Nathan's guilt buttons. She doesn't need to prove anything, just to make everyone around her uncomfortable enough to back away. And it's working. Amy senses it. She's been through loss, betrayal, and loneliness. She knows what it feels like to lose ground just when you think you're on solid footing. Season 19 is going to challenge her like never before. She won't just be fighting for her relationship, she'll be protecting her place in the Heartland family. Because once Gracie starts whispering doubts and stirring conflict, loyalties will shift. People will be forced to choose sides. And Nathan, who has only just begun to show he's capable of love again, might crumble under the pressure. Amy's been patient. She waited for Nathan to open up, to face his past, to let her in, but now she has to wonder if it was all too soon. If their foundation isn't strong enough to survive the storm Gracie is bringing. What makes this even harder is the fact that Amy isn't the kind of person who fights with words or power. She leads with her heart. She believes in second chances. But Gracie is different. She's strategic. She sees weakness and uses it. And if Amy doesn't step up, she might lose more than just Nathan. She could lose the entire support system she rebuilt after Ty's death. It's not just about love anymore. It's about survival, about proving that she belongs in this next chapter of Heartland. And as filming for season 19 continues, all signs point to a season filled with betrayal, hard choices, and emotional turning points we're not ready for. Amy and Nathan's love story was never going to be easy, but now it's in real danger, not from past wounds or uncertain futures, but from someone who knows exactly how to tear them apart. Gracie didn't come home to heal, she came to win. And she's not afraid to burn bridges to get what she wants. Gracie isn't the only one causing tension in Heartland. Season 18 left us with a complicated emotional puzzle, especially when it comes to Katie and Lou. Katie's journey hit close to home for so many viewers. She's a young girl trying to figure out who she is and where she belongs. At first, her acceptance into the Vancouver Fine Arts program seemed like the perfect opportunity. She's always had a creative spirit, and leaving Hudson felt like the right step forward. But that wasn't the full story. What we didn't see coming was how much pain she was holding inside. Katie didn't want to leave just to chase her dreams. She wanted to escape the shadow of her mother's expectations, escape the whispers of the past, and escape the feeling that she wasn't truly part of the family. After what happened with Dodger, her heart was broken, and even though Lou tried to be there for her, their relationship was strained. When Katie finally decided to stay, it felt like a moment of healing, like she had finally chosen Heartland for herself, not because someone told her to. But even now, it doesn't feel finished. She's still caught between childhood and adulthood, between rebellion and responsibility. And while she might be staying physically, emotionally, she's still drifting. Lou, for her part, is trying. But she's also overwhelmed. Her fall from Stanson was terrifying. That one moment when everything could have been taken from her reminded everyone how fragile life really is. And even though it was just a broken leg, it was a wake-up call. She's not invincible. She's always been the strong one. The mayor, the mother, the one who keeps things running. But now, she's forced to slow down, to accept help, to let go of control. That's hard for Lou, and it's especially hard when she sees her daughter pulling away. She wants to protect Katie, guide her, help her make the right choices. But in doing so, she's unintentionally pushed her further. Season 19 will need to confront this rift head-on. Lou and Katie can't keep pretending things are fine. They have to talk, to argue, to cry if needed. Because silence will only make things worse. Katie may have chosen to stay, but staying in Heartland doesn't mean she's okay. Her heart is still heavy with things unsaid, and if Lou doesn't truly hear her, their bond might break for good. And somewhere in the middle of all this chaos is Tim, always the wild card. In Season 18, he made the biggest sacrifice of all, walking away from a major job offer to be close to his family. That decision spoke volumes. Tim has always struggled with choosing between ambition and connection, but this time, he chose right. He chose Shane, Chloe, and their unborn child. He chose to be present. It was a powerful reminder that Tim, for all his flaws, has grown. But even growth has consequences. Now he's here. But what does that mean for him? What's next? He's not someone who sits still for long. Season 19 might show us a version of Tim who's grappling with stillness, with staying put when his instincts scream for action. And there's always the question of his past. What ghosts will show up now that he's not running from them? Heartland has always been about more than just horses and ranch life. It's about the emotional messiness of family, how love, guilt, fear, and hope tangle together in ways we can't always fix. Season 19 promises to bring those emotions to the surface like never before. Katie's indecision, Lou's vulnerability, Tim's restlessness, all of it will collide with Gracie's return and the threat she brings. And in the center of it all stands Amy, holding everyone together while trying not to fall apart herself. The Fleming family may look like they've survived the storm, but the next one is already forming on the horizon. And this time, it's coming from every direction. And while everyone in Heartland is dealing with emotional storms, one storyline quietly built in the background, waiting to explode: Caleb's return. It was subtle, almost too quiet. But for longtime fans, his presence stirred up old memories and unanswered questions. When Caleb reappeared in Season 18, there was a moment of panic. Would he try to come between Amy and Nathan? Would he reopen wounds from the past? Thankfully, he didn't. In fact, what he did surprised everyone. Instead of fighting for something that had already ended, he chose to move on with Ashley. That decision felt like a full circle moment. Caleb and Ashley were never perfect, but there was something real between them, something unfinished. Seeing them reconnect felt right, like the writers were finally giving those characters a second chance without forcing unnecessary drama. But that doesn't mean Caleb's story is done. Season 19 could explore how Caleb fits into this new era of Heartland, especially as someone who's matured, someone who can offer wisdom or even mentorship to the younger generation. He's not just a cowboy anymore. He's a man who's seen heartbreak, made mistakes, and learned to live with them. That makes him valuable and dangerous in a quiet way. Because people who've healed can often see the cracks in others. He might become the unexpected voice that challenges Nathan, or even Amy when things get too emotional to see clearly. But the real tension in Season 19 will come from within the ranch itself. Price beef, once just a subplot, is now center stage. With Jack getting older, Tim distracted, and Lou recovering, the ranch has never felt more vulnerable. And Gracie knows it. She's not just after legal co-ownership, she wants to use the instability to her advantage. She's smart enough to understand that the ranch isn't just land. It's legacy, it's trust, it's history. And if she can fracture that trust, she might convince Nathan to side with her, even if it means stepping on Amy in the process. That's what makes her so dangerous. She's not going to storm and yelling. She's going to smile, pretend to play nice, and slowly turn people against each other. The kind of manipulation that poisons from the inside. And it's working already. Nathan is trying to keep the peace, but you can tell he's exhausted. He's the kind of man who bottles things up until they explode. And Gracie knows how to push him just to that breaking point. If he starts pulling away from Amy again, it won't be because he doesn't care. It'll be because he's drowning and doesn't know how to ask for help. Amy, of course, senses all of this. And the tragedy is that she's been here before. With Ty, she knew what it meant to love someone who was broken, who was healing, who needed time. And she gave him that time until fate cruelly took it away. With Nathan, it's different. He's here. He's alive. But he's slipping through her fingers, and she's terrified of losing something before it's even fully hers. That's what makes this upcoming season so heartbreaking. It's not just about love or loss. It's about timing, about whether two people can hold on to each other long enough to survive everything trying to pull them apart. And when Amy looks into Nathan's eyes, she sees the same storm she's fought for years. But this time, she's not sure if she has the strength to weather it again. Especially with Lindy growing up, asking questions, needing her mother to be emotionally present. Amy's trying to balance being a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a woman who deserves happiness. But how can she protect Lindy from heartbreak when she's barely holding herself together? Season 19 will force every character to confront their past, to either grow from it or let it swallow them whole. Heartland has always been a show about healing, but this time, healing might come at a cost. Friendships could fracture, relationships might not survive. And even though there's hope, it's fragile, delicate, like glass, just one wrong word or choice away from shattering. The ranch, the family, the future, it's all hanging in the balance. And when the dust settles, not everyone will be standing in the same place they started. But amidst all this emotional chaos, one thing is quietly becoming more powerful than ever. Lindy's voice. She's not the little girl in the background anymore. She's growing up fast, watching every move Amy makes, and beginning to ask harder questions about her father, about love, about family. She sees Nathan stepping into their lives, and while she doesn't fully understand the weight of it all, she knows it matters. And this is where season 19 might hit the hardest, not in the shouting matches or dramatic exits, but in the soft, quiet moments when a child asks a question her mother can't answer. Lindy's innocence has always been a light in the darkness, a reminder of what really matters. But now, her presence is a mirror. She reflects Amy's fears, hopes, and buried grief. Every time Amy looks at her daughter, she's reminded of Ty, what she lost, and how far she's come. But she's also reminded of the future, the one she's trying to build with Nathan. And that future is under threat, not from strangers, but from family. That's what makes this season so deeply personal. The lines aren't drawn between good and bad. They're tangled between love and loyalty, dreams and duty. And Gracie isn't just challenging Amy's relationship with Nathan. She's threatening everything Amy's fought for since Ty died. The peace, the healing, the hope. Because Gracie doesn't care about what Amy's been through. She wasn't there for the tears, the rebuilding, the long nights wondering how to be both mother and widow. She just sees Amy as someone standing in her way, someone who doesn't deserve the closeness she never earned. And the more she speaks that bitterness aloud, the more people start listening. That's the danger of someone like Gracie. She doesn't need to win everyone over. She just needs to plant enough doubt to make Amy feel like an outsider again. And the worst part is, it's working. Even Lou, distracted with her own pain, starts pulling back. Tim, always the fixer, tries to keep the peace but can't stop the bleeding. Jack is watching it all quietly, his silence louder than any speech, his heart breaking as his family slowly starts to fracture. Heartland has always been about resilience. But in season 19, it's not about surviving another external threat. It's about surviving each other. And the emotional toll is already showing. Amy's smile doesn't reach her eyes like it used to. Nathan is guarded again, slipping into that cold distance he fought so hard to leave behind. Gracie smiles at the dinner table, but her words twist the air like smoke. And in the middle of it all is Lindy, trying to understand why the people she loves are suddenly hurting each other. The ranch feels different, heavier, like the weight of unspoken truths is finally too much to carry. But maybe that's where the hope lies. Because sometimes, when everything breaks down, you finally see what's worth saving. Maybe Katie will find her voice. Maybe Lou will let go of control and just hold her daughter. Maybe Tim will find peace in staying still. And maybe, just maybe, Nathan will fight for Amy the way she's always fought for the people she loves. Because if he doesn't, he'll lose her. And this time, there won't be a second chance. As we look towards season 19 of Heartland, it's impossible to ignore the weight of everything that's been building. The emotional wounds that never fully healed, the love stories that refuse to settle into neat, happy endings, and the quiet struggles hiding beneath every smile. Season 18 left us with so much to process. And now, with filming for season 19. Already underway, the excitement is mixed with deep uncertainty. This isn't just about another season. It feels like a turning point. A moment where everything could either fall apart or finally come together. We know filming officially started on May 13th. And according to the production schedule, they're aiming to wrap up by August 28th. So, that's a long shoot, which means they're investing in something big. For Canadian viewers, this suggests a likely fall 2025 premiere, most likely September or October on CBC. As for international audiences, it's going to be a longer wait. Based on Heartland's recent distribution trends, Up Faith and Family will probably carry the show starting in April 2026. But for fans who can't wait to get a glimpse, keep your eyes open around early September 2025. That's when the trailer should drop. And if it's anything like last season, it'll be packed with emotion, family drama, and hopefully plenty of Amy and Nathan moments. Now, let's talk about that couple. Amy and Nathan's relationship is becoming the emotional anchor of the series. And it's not because they're perfect or even particularly stable right now. It's because they feel real. Season 18 gave us a slow, aching look at two people trying to come together without losing themselves. Amy, after years of holding everyone else up, is learning how to let herself love again. And Nathan, so guarded, so used to hiding behind. His stoic shell is finally learning how to open his heart. That kiss they shared wasn't just romantic, it was earned. It felt like years of pain, longing, and hesitation melting into one single moment of hope. And yet, with Gracie's return and the tension surrounding Price Beef, that hope is already under attack. Gracie, no matter how much we want to understand her, is a threat. She's not just returning to reconnect with family, she's returning. With demands, with bitterness, and with a plan. And it's already working. She's slipping wedges between Nathan and Amy, between Amy and the rest of the family, between Nathan and his own judgment. The most painful part? She might not even be doing it out of malice. Gracie's been hurt too? Maybe she feels abandoned. Maybe she's jealous of the life Nathan has now, especially the bond he's building with Amy and Lindy. Maybe all of this is just her way of screaming, "Don't forget about me." But good intentions don't erase damage. Her arrival is forcing Nathan to divide his loyalty between the family he's building and the one he came from. And it's not easy. If season 19 pushes that conflict too far, we might see Amy walking away. Not because she doesn't love him, but because she refuses to be a second choice again. And then there's Amy's internal war. She's tired, not just from running the ranch, raising Lindy, and keeping the family afloat. She's tired of losing people. Losing Ty nearly broke her. And while time has helped her heal, there are scars that will never fade. That's why Nathan mattered so much, because with him, there was finally something new. A fresh start. Not a replacement for Ty, but a reminder that she still deserves love, that her story isn't over. But with every challenge, every misunderstanding, every harsh word from Gracie, that fresh start feels more fragile. Amy is fighting not just for a relationship, but for the right to move forward without guilt, to love again without constantly apologizing for it. And that's not a fight she can win alone. Season 19 must confront that grief directly. Because for Amy, love and loss are always intertwined. Ty's memory lingers in every room, in every glance from Jack, in every story Lindy hears about her dad. And now that Lindy is older, she's asking tougher questions. Who was her father, really? Why did he leave? Is Nathan supposed to replace him? And Amy doesn't always have the answers. How could she? She's trying to hold the past and future in each hand and not let either fall apart. But with Lindy growing, more aware of the world around her, Amy will be forced to make peace with the past in a new way because her daughter deserves truth, not just protection. And as painful as that is, it might be the key to finally freeing herself from the grief she's carried for so long. Meanwhile, Katie and Lou are walking a similar emotional tightrope. Lou is finally learning what it means to let go. After years of being the planner, the doer, the fixer, her injury has slowed her down. She's forced to rely on others, to admit she doesn't have it all together. And that's terrifying for someone like her, but it's also necessary because Katie isn't a little girl anymore. She's a young woman with big dreams and an even bigger heart. Her decision to stay in Hudson shocked everyone, but it wasn't weakness. It was strength. Katie stayed because she wanted to heal where she was wounded, to grow roots before she tried to fly. And that takes courage. But Lou doesn't see it. Yet, she still sees her daughter as a reflection of her own choices. And until she learns to let Katie be her own person, that relationship will remain strained. Season 19 has a real opportunity to give us a mother-daughter arc that feels raw and honest. Two strong women learning how to listen to each other, even when it hurts. And then there's Tim. Oh, Tim. Always the storm in the distance. The wild card. Season 18 saw him make a huge sacrifice for family, and it was beautiful. But sacrifices don't end with one decision. Now he has to live with that choice. Be present, stay still. Except that maybe he's done chasing new beginnings. But Tim's never been great at sitting still. Season 19 might be his most personal, yet grappling with identity, purpose, and aging. He's going to be a grandfather again. And maybe, just maybe, that will finally ground him. So where does that leave us? On the edge of something powerful. Heartland. Season 19 isn't just another chapter, it's the emotional climax we've been building toward for years. Every character is standing at a crossroads. Amy and Nathan must decide if love is worth the chaos. Lou and Katie must rebuild trust from broken pieces. Tim must embrace the present. Lindy must learn about her father and what it means to grow up in a family shaped by both loss and love. And Gracie, well, Gracie might just burn everything down unless someone stops her. And here's the final twist. Season 20 is already approved. Yes, before Season 19 even finishes filming. That means the writers have something huge in store, something they're building toward. Could it be Amy and Nathan's wedding? Could it be Lou finally stepping back and giving Katie the reins? Could it be Tim saying goodbye? Whatever it is, it's coming. And it's going to be unforgettable. Until then, all we can do is wait. Watch the trailer when it drops. Reread the posts, rewatch the finale, and hold on to hope. Because Heartland has always been about holding on when everything else tells you to let go.